The lights of Los Angeles have always burned bright. But behind those golden rays, the city hides its shadows, and no one understood that duality better than Julia Ann. She was known to millions as the platinum-haired beauty with a dangerous mix of grace and grit, a woman who could own any screen she stepped onto. But behind the image of confidence and control, Julia Ann's personal life was a storm, filled with forbidden romances, devastating heartbreaks, and controversies that haunted her career. Julia wasn't born into Hollywood. She was born into ordinary beginnings, raised in California, smart, curious, but restless. The girl who wanted to be more, who wanted to be seen. She was drawn to glamour like a moth to flame, and that flame would soon consume her. Julia's first brush with love came young, and it came fast. She fell for a man much older than her, someone who promised her the world, who told her she could have everything if she just believed in him. But the relationship turned toxic quickly. He wanted control, not companionship. He shaped her career moves, told her what to wear, how to speak, how to behave. In public, they looked like a power couple. In private, it was control disguised as affection. Julia learned early that love in Hollywood often came with contracts, cameras, and conditions. The breakup was messy. Rumors spread that she'd been betrayed. Others claimed she walked away from a deal that could have made her a star. Whatever the truth, that heartbreak changed her, hardened her, and set her on a path where she would never again let love define her. The next chapter of Julia's love life came with scandal. She fell for someone she wasn't supposed to, a man already connected, already taken. It was passion mixed with danger, and it drew attention. Tabloids whispered. Fans speculated. She denied the affair publicly, but those close to her said otherwise, that the two met in secret, that they risked everything for moments of connection. And when the truth finally surfaced, the fallout was brutal. Her name trended for weeks. Interviews were canceled, and her reputation took a hit. But Julia didn't hide. She walked through the fire. As she once said in an interview years later, "You don't survive this business unless you learn how to stand inside the flames and smile." That smile became her armor. Julia's fame skyrocketed in the early 2000s. She was everywhere: photo shoots, interviews, award nights. Her face was the embodiment of a certain kind of power, sensual, confident, fearless. But behind the image, she struggled with trust. Love was a game she didn't know how to play anymore. Every man who entered her life came with a motive: fame, money, exposure. She tried to find sincerity, but sincerity is rare in a world where attention is currency. In one infamous episode, she was linked to a musician who used her name to boost his own career. When she realized the betrayal, she ended it instantly. But the headlines were cruel. Julia and used and abandoned. That story wasn't true, but it sold. For Julia, every heartbreak became another headline, every tear became another tabloid moment. Fame can be intoxicating, but it's also isolating. Julia began retreating from the spotlight, focusing instead on independence. She wanted to be seen for more than just beauty, she wanted respect. But old habits, old ghosts, and old flames don't fade easily. A secret relationship reignited with a former partner, someone from her early career who had once broken her heart. The reunion was passionate, but it came with the same problems: jealousy, possession, emotional manipulation. Those who knew her say she tried to fix it, to believe that people could change. But she learned again that love without balance becomes war. When the relationship imploded, the press had a field day. They called it Julia Ann's final heartbreak. They were wrong, it was her rebirth. By her 40s, Julia had seen it all: betrayal, obsession, fame, and loss. Rumors continued to follow her. Alleged feuds with other stars, disputes with managers, public outbursts. Some were exaggerated, some were true. She didn't deny everything. Instead, she reclaimed the narrative. In a bold interview, she once said, "I've loved hard. I've been hurt harder. But I'd rather live a messy, honest life than a perfect, fake one." That line broke the internet. Fans loved her rawness. Critics admired her courage. And suddenly, Julia and The woman once defined by scandal became a symbol of resilience. It wasn't until later in life that Julia discovered a different kind of love: quiet, steady, private. No headlines, no paparazzi. Just two people who understood each other's broken edges. This relationship grounded her. It wasn't about fame or power or possession. It was about peace. She often said in later interviews that the truest love she ever found was after she stopped searching for it. But still, her past followed her. Every new appearance sparked speculation. Is she still with him? Has she married again? Did she reconcile with her ex? Julia never confirmed or denied. She understood that mystery was her final power. Behind the glamour, Julia fought deep emotional battles: loneliness, loss, and self-doubt. She'd experienced betrayal not only in love, but in business and friendship. Yet she transformed pain into power, creating a life defined by authenticity. When asked what she regretted most, she once replied, "I don't regret the people I loved, even the ones who hurt me. I regret the moments I didn't love myself enough to walk away sooner." That confession resonated deeply with fans. It turned Julia from a figure of scandal into a figure of strength. Julia Ann's love life was never simple. It was chaotic, passionate, scandalous, but always real. She became a living story of survival, a woman who dared to love in a world that punished women for doing so. Her relationships may have been turbulent, her choices controversial, but one truth remained. She lived with fire. And she never let that fire be extinguished, not by heartbreak, not by gossip, not by the judgment of others. In a business built on illusion, Julia Ann chose truth, even when that truth was painful. As the camera fades and the music slows, her story leaves behind a haunting echo. Love can destroy you. Scandal can define you. But what truly saves you is the courage to begin again. Julia Ann began again many times. And that's what makes her story unforgettable.